Hi, Mr. Jackson. I really enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed reading the 2 chapters that we did from the book. The 3 things he talked about that really spoke to me were the first topic was like the coven and the consumer relationship. He talked about how the consumer relationship was like going to like the grocery store. The second that grocery store doesn't have what you need, you can switch and go to somewhere else. But with a coven, you can't just give up on that, and that's what like the legal piece of paper that binds you to your marriage does. And I thought that that was like super important. A lot of relationships today have this like open concept where you don't have the legal binding marriage, and it gives you this ability to just like walk away and not have to split 50-50 or whatever that is. And it gives you this idea that your marriage is important or you're not binded by the state or whatever it is. And I feel like that isn't a Christian marriage because you're not bound and you're not becoming one. And so I got that out of this video, that like it is important to be bound together and it is important to have that piece of paper. And even though it is just a piece of paper, it is a lot more than just a piece of paper. You become one and you are like tied together. And then the second piece that he went over was going into marriage and not wanting to be changed. He talked about how like a lot of people are constantly like saying that they don't want their spouse to change them and they think that they're perfect how they are and that they don't go into relationships damaged. But in reality, you always do, and that you like think that you're perfect and that you don't want your spouse to change you, but like you are meant to be changed and you are meant to like grow together, not grow apart. And I thought that that was super important, that God calls us to be, I don't know, but like God calls us to grow together and grow as one and grow continually in Him, and that our spouse is meant to help us develop into a better person, not go in thinking that we are perfect. And I think that he covers that really well. And then third, he talked about being loving and without being loved back. And a lot of times we go into relationships thinking that we deserve to be a tit for tat type of deal, and that's not always how it has to be. That just because you don't get something doesn't mean that you can't give it back. And I feel like that's extremely hard to do, and I can't imagine what that is going to be like. I can only imagine that that's hard because it's hard to even talk about, but that's extremely important because he's talked about like being sick or like going through struggles even in today, like working or just at all. Like it's hard to give something without receiving, and that's a trial that is in its own. So those are 3 things that I got out of it that are super important. And yeah, cool.